And of course, the vice president came on and said something. We saw the speech of the president yesterday, and today we saw the president sign the condolences book. And for me, seeing the president sign the condolences book, I think it has set in, the reality has set in, like, okay, it is real. We lost our president, Edgar Lungu. It is so sad. It is so sad. We continue to pray and put in prayer the family of Lungu. We pray for Madam Esther Lungu, wherever she is. We pray for Tarsila as the head of the family. You know, when you're a firstborn, it is spiritual to be a firstborn because you have to make decisions on behalf of the family. So we continue to pray for Tarsila. We continue to God that He can give this family wisdom as they are mourning and making tough decisions under a difficult situation. So it's not easy, but with God, everything is possible. With God, everything is possible. So we are here, guys. And yeah, so those are the topic. I want us to listen what President Sean Tembo had to say. And then we just talk about everything that is happening. You know, Zambia is a democracy. We are free to talk as enshrined in the Zambian constitution. We are free to talk. Freedom of expression, freedom of consciousness. That is our democratic right, and no one can take it away from us. So Zambians, let's engage and discuss what is going on about the funeral. Some of us are in support, stand with the Lungu family. Myself, I've declared that I stand with the Lungu family, and I will continue to be an advocate for them. To condemn whatever injustice is happening to this family. And every human rights advocate should be standing with the Lungu family, because this family, despite whatever mistakes, yes, so we stand with the Lungu family, and whatever mistakes were made by the former Republican president when he was president, we don't think that the government of Zambia should have prosecuted the entire family. I don't think the government of Zambia should have started this witch hunt in the Lungu family to a point where Madam Lungu is in court, like I don't know how many times. All the Lungu children, they have court cases right now. And I feel like if the government really needed to prosecute these people, they would have started those court cases and ended them in the shortest possible time. But having court cases with someone and extending the time, for example, 4 years, we are going to 4 years. None of the cases for the Lungu family have been closed. These cases continue going and going and going. It's like torture. You know, it's torture to keep court cases going for 4 years. Paka nomba balungu ba freedom naba kwatama court cases. I think that is a torture to the maximum, because the president talked about fast track court cases. What happened to fast track? Why, if ever the Lungu family are guilty, let them be tried within a year, at least 6 months, maximum a year. You know, how hard is it to investigate? By DEC and by ACC, then don't charge these people if you don't have enough evidence. When you should take these people to court when you have evidence, so that these cases, they are concluded within the shortest possible time. You don't start by giving people cases, and now it's taking 4 years. Paka balungu ba freedom. You are just dragging this entire family to court. Today is the mother, today is Tarsila, today is the other, is Daliso, and so on and so forth. And now we see Daliso taking the Prime TV to court. And we say this is just an attempt to stop media from covering these, the cases of these families. Why were they, exactly, we're happy. Why were the flats returned to Mrs. Lungu? They should have made sure they had the evidence before they went and seized those flats. It's injustice, it's torture. You are torturing this family. And that's why I support them in whatever they are doing. Let the state stay away from the family, from the funeral of Lungu, because you, the state, have prosecuted these people. So I don't see how the same state that prosecuted these people want to be in the forefront to bury a man whom they prosecuted in life. And the developing news, it has even been reported on BBC, is that the Lungu family do not want HH to be at ECL's funeral. It is very sad. If it chika, feel very sad. Muzambia, feel mpwisha nensoni. You know, in our country, Zambia now is just breaking new headlines for bad things. Zambia, we are breaking tule pangama headlines kufia bupuba. We are making headlines in heart rate. Amanesu wale pangama headlines in developing, improving their countries and their economies, if we are making headlines for heart rate. When our constitution says we are a Christian nation, how can we say we are a Christian nation, but we are not living by the guidelines of Christianity? How can we say we're a Christian nation, but we are not living by the guidelines of Christianity? There is no Christianity going on. So it's time to check ourselves, Zambia. We can't be hiding behind the constitution which says we're a Christian nation, but we don't practice any of the Christianity values or principles. It's not, nobody's a baby. We are all grown people. We are all adults. We are 20 million people. We are all able to see. Anyone who's above 14 years can see everything. So we are saying, let this government live by the constitution. And all Zambians live by the constitution and the Bible. We say we are a Christian nation, but we are not practicing the Christianity which we say we live by. So what does that make us? It took the president a whole week to go and sign the book of condolences. Imagine, Chiriro Chab. Now, coming to Madam Nalumango and whatever she said. So, ngana mwishiwa Chiriro Cha state. If you, Madam Nalumango, and your government should know that this is a funeral for the state, why did it take 1 week for the president to address the nation? But President Haka Indengana Veshiwa Chiriro Chab. Why did it take him 1 week to address the nation on the funeral? If the president knew that this is his funeral, Chiriro Chabo, he's the head of state, and this is his funeral, why did it take him 1 week to address the nation? Why did it take him 1 week and 1 day to go and sign the book of condolences? Why? You cannot be using the law to suit you. And then when certain things are like him announcing the funeral, he took his time. He took a week to address the nation. He took a week to, and now, but they wanted to go and grab the body right away. They are interested in the dead body, but that dead body, when it needed health care, they denied the health care. When Lungu was alive, the head of state gave an order to withdraw all diplomatic assistance or recognition in any embassy. So that's why Lungu when he went to South Africa, he couldn't be recognized because there was a ban. There is a letter where the head of state wrote a letter to ban any embassy from entertaining Lungu. So I think let's put facts straight. It would help if this government can take responsibility. Yes, the president's speech was on point, but there are things. For example, ECL, HH as a head of state banned all embassies from helping him. So now that there is this impasse between the two, he can't just say let there be peace when he did things to end the peace. He must take responsibility and say, we are sorry to the Lungu family. We did all these things to ban you, to do A, B, C, D, to ban your late father, your late husband. We are sorry. We are going to mourn in peace, but these things have to be ironed out. You just can't come and pretend like nothing happened, because somebody died. No. You can't just say mourn in peace when you are the same people who told the embassies not to recognize that man wherever he went. And now you say mourn in peace. And now you say you want to take his remains and be in charge of the funeral. And now you want to say, threatening the family to say whoever bans the head of state from being in this funeral be, I don't know what there is, treasonous or treacherous. I don't know what word it is. Welcome, Vamugwag.
Thank you so much for what you have said. And I want to say this from the onset. I'll use Tonga for a little bit. Here we have traditions. There are most of the Zambians that come to the US or go to the UK. They do caregiving, okay? One of the things that you're taught as a caregiver, you need to observe the traditions. For example, Jewish people, okay? If you're a caregiver and you're taking care of a Jewish person and that person dies, they will tell you what you need to do. You don't touch the body, otherwise it will be desecrated. The Seventh Adventists have traditions. There are things that cannot be done, even where we come from. There are losses, there are chewas, there are bembas, there are traditions that have been preserved over generations. It's not something that has started now. These are traditions that have been preserved over time. So what you are hearing right now, it is not new, my fellow Zambians. It is not new. These traditions have been with us for a very, very long time. Deceived? Let's hold true to our traditions. Now, going back to the matter at hand. One thing that I give credit to the late
he was asked by, I think, a British BBC reporter, say, what about these lifestyle choices? I'll be TikTok friendly. You Zambians, you're backward. Why don't you allow people to live their lives? He said, we will hold on to our traditions. If it means cutting edge, let them keep their aid. On that day, I thank God because I remembered what Chiluba had done. He dedicated the nation to God. Zambia is a Christian nation. It is enshrined in our constitution. Not that we don't care for other religions. We recognize that there are Muslims, recognize there are Hindus, recognize that there are watchtowers, there are other religions. But we're saying David Livingstone prayed over Zambia. Look at my profile. Zambia did not start in 1964. It started way back. So whatever is happening even today, let us remember that there was once a David Livingstone who prayed, that there was once a Kenneth David Kaunda who said Zambia shall be free. Even Watataba never Smunda, who was saying Zambia shall be saved. I don't know why he can't find his voice at this hour to speak to the soul of the nation, to speak to our creed, to speak to our tradition, to speak to our roots. I don't understand. But why I will not monologue. All I came here to say is we are a sovereign nation and we know where we came from. We know where we are. We know where we're going. And I'll land there.
Thank you, Vamugwagwa. Welcome, my guests on TikTok. If you're on Facebook, you can come in, and if you want to join the panel, you can join us on TikTok. And Vamugwagwa has raised a very important point to say every person is born from a family, and those families, we have different tribes, and the different tribes have got different cultures and procedures for burial rites. And Vamugwagwa made a mention to say, even here, we who live here in the States, a lot of us do caregiving jobs. And when someone dies, they actually lay down procedure that you are told to say, this person, when they die, this is what is supposed to happen. You know? So we are talking about this because we saw the Zambian government sent a contingent within 48 hours of ECL's death to forcibly retrieve the remains of Edgar Lungu, overlooking the family. And their reasons for this is that he was the head of, he's a property of the state. So being a former Republican president, the state should take the remains in order to conduct the state funeral. And I would like just to ask these questions to the state of Zambia. Actually, maybe not ask, but just to tell them that you don't really need the remains of the ECL to conduct a state funeral. You know, in some cultures, you know, people are cremated, they are buried at sea, but still more, that should not take away from the state to hold a state funeral. Can you please mute? Please mute. Please mute if you're joining in. Yes, so we are saying that the state should not say we have to need to have the remains with us because we are conducting the state funeral. They can still conduct the state funeral without the remains of Edgar Lungu. Like they went to sign the book of condolences, funerals are going on without his remains. The remains, we are not going to continue reminding you every day, but if we have to, we will remind you that the remains belong to the family. Let the family do whatever they want to do with the remains. Now, the animosity and the standoff is becoming because of the rivalry between President ECL and HH. Let us not mince our words. We have to call a spade a spade. Zambia, we are a Christian nation, and we have to continue speaking the truth. We cannot be switching stories to suit us or to make us look good. If it is bad, it is bad. The relationship between the two, the former head of state and the current, it was not good. And we talk about people like Dr. Nevas Mumba, who were supposed to broker peace, but instead they have been caught up in politicking. Now look where we are. This thing is falling on Tasila's head and Mrs. Esther Lungu because the leaders in our country failed to broker peace. Now ECL is gone and he has got final wishes. And because of those final wishes, we have this stalemate. We are where we have a government that does not want to recognize these final wishes of this family. Instead, they continue the political persecution. Now, there are rumors, I don't know if they know these rumors are true or not, but there are rumors that the Lungu family is demanding that the charges be dropped against their family. And I agree with them. If you want a fresh start, Edgar Lungu is no more. You were prosecuting these people because of Edgar Lungu. Now that Edgar Lungu is no more, why should you continue to persecute the family who are not a threat? And the person who was the reason you were prosecuting them is gone. So I support that the state should drop all charges and start a clean slate, fresh start. So they are not wrong to say we drop all the charges. Otherwise, if they are not going to drop all the charges,
I don't think they would think that. No, the pain that this family has gone through, I don't think we are there. This is bigger.
So it's propaganda. So they are lying. So now they are painting another picture on the Lungu family to say they are asking the state to drop the charges. Because we saw online, the charges were very reasonable. They only want to take the body to Copper Belt in Dola, where he was born, to his village in Petauke and to Lusaka. And at least I think they want like 4 to 5 weeks of mourning. I think that is a reasonable demand. And they don't want the president Hakainde Hichilema near the body of ECL. And I think that is reasonable because these people never used to see eye to eye. So why should it be that why should be the president or Madam Nalumango be offended for the family saying that saying Edgar Lungu's last wishes? But Nalumango, you really every time when Nalumango comes, she continues to disappoint us. A few days ago,
Madam President. Actually, I want to disagree with what Ramugwa said. There is a statement on Kalemba which is saying Tasila Lungu and their family are ready to holding back the body of former President Lungu until government agrees to drop all the criminal charges against them. This is on Kalemba.
My sister, Kalemba is a propaganda. Listen to me. Kalemba, there are voices in Zambia. Unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, let me tell you this. We heard from ECL himself. He said they prevented me to board a plane to seek medical help. From his own mouth, he said that. What you're saying, these demands that the family has, I've heard from Makebe. Makebe is only saying a couple of things. One, they're saying that Wimuntu, when he left Zambia, he left on his own. And we all saw this, how ECL left Zambia. It is when the repertoire was arriving at KKI, at the Kenakaunda, he bought a ticket 30 minutes before boarding time. That's how he left Zambia.
Nalumango, I don't disagree with you. I'll just support him what he's saying to say there is a rumor. And the rumor is, I've also confirmed to say, it's on Kalemba, in agreement with what you are saying. It's propaganda. And on this forum, we've agreed that we're not going to...
Can you restate? Because me, I don't want you to affirm what I did not say. What do you think I agreed to?
I said, I agree with you to say it's not... like the family can't think so low to start saying those things. But if you heard what Madam Queen Pumi said, she said there's a rumor. So I was telling her to say, actually, it's not a rumor. It's even on Kalemba. So that whatever has been said, we've agreed on this forum that we will not be going with a propaganda of UPND, because on this forum, we are not going to stand to listen to their lies. We'll always be counterreacting to what their propaganda is. I agree with you to say they can't sit so long.
I want you to state it. What is it that was said that we don't agree with?
No, I said I agree with you.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
You said the family cannot think so low to say that. I agree with you. The family will not think so low. But Queen Pumi was saying there's a rumor, and that's what...
I want you to state what I don't agree with.
What we don't agree with.
Said,
let me come in. Let me come in, Chichi.
Right.
What we don't agree is you people pushing false narratives against the Lungu family. That is why we are here. And for me,
the family is asking that the charges be dropped.
Yes, there is a fake news.
We name it. Let's name it.
Yes,
the
so they
demand that the charges be dropped. The family did not do that.
Right, and that's why I've been here since Lungu died. I've been here every day to help debunk these lies, because we know that this faction, they came into power on propaganda, and now there is this propaganda to say the Lungu family wants all the charges to be dropped. When we saw yes, they did not say that. So we are here.
They did not say that, but I was also that's why I was saying, Madam, when Mugogwa, you said they can't sing solo, I said no. In as much as I'm in agreement with what you are saying, but this is the narrative which is running. Even I'm told Chultatari is saying the same thing on the live show. That's why I'm saying I'm in agreement with what Madam Queen was saying, to say there's this propaganda or rumor. So we are saying the same thing, maybe it's just said in a different way. We are on the same page. We are trying to...
Let's be clear when we're speaking. The family did not demand for any charges to be dropped. Mayowa Esther, she has charges, eh? That's what took the grinders to the house. She has not asked for those charges to be dropped. Let them continue with that case. The only thing she asked is what ECL said. Somebody should not be near that body. They want where he was born in Dola. They want a church service. They want a church service in Petauke. It's clear what they're saying. They want the way he left Zambia to South Africa. He was a nobody. He had to sneak out. He wants to come back the way he came out of Zambia. Then you can have a state funeral, you can do whatever you want. But bear in mind, you have to recognize he was born in Ndola. And he comes from Petauko.
So I think, so on just on that Mugwagwa, I think like the family, I think the family is actually being very conservative because being a head of state, the remains should visit all the 10 provinces. They should have a service at least in all the 10 provinces. That is one. And number two, I don't even know why we are arguing to say the state should take the body, because the state withdraw all his entitlements. There is a letter where the actual state, whomever in the GRZ wrote a letter to say withdraw all these money's diplomatic privileges. They were cut. That's why even leaving the country, he left as a private citizen because his government cut his benefits. So let us name and shame this hypocrisy. Mamona,
Exactly.
let us name and shame this hypocrisy. You, the government, cut this man's diplomatic entitlements. That's why he flew out as a private person. And he bought his ticket last minute, because if you knew earlier, you would have stopped him like you did before. So let us be honest, Mwevantu, and take responsibility. Now, December 10, this man was declared ineligible to be president. So what would have happened then would have been the state to reinstate his benefits. So if his diplomatic benefits and whatever were reinstated, then this government can have a claim over the remains and the funeral. Right now, this man is a nobody in the eyes of the government. So you can't start saying, like, let us have peace, let the state take over, when the same state banned this man. You took away his privileges and his rights. You have to fix that. The unfortunate thing is that this man is now dead. So how can you reinstate a dead person? How can you reinstate a dead person's benefits? How? This is why we say we need governance of maturity. People who can think to say, uyu muntu nakwata health issue. Ingaafa chikabashani. How are we going to come in as a state to accord him a state funeral when we cut him off from the state? So it has to start by the state reinstating a dead person. So I don't know how that's going to happen. That's how this whole thing is complicated. You, the state, complicated this whole thing. You can't now start putting this thing on Tassila and Esther. You cut benefits of a man who was ailing. And we have people like Nevas Mumba and all these people who sat quiet. And they know that if you are ailing, the next thing kufa. Nombanga wafa chikabashane apatwa isanga nomba. Because we have elders in the country who have decided to be quiet when they needed to raise their voice and fix these things before somebody dies. That's why we have these problems. We have these problems because you all did nothing when you were supposed to do something. So don't start blaming Tassila and Baesta. It's on you. It is on you by GRZ. That's why I'm saying the speech of the president was good, but it has not addressed the problems which the state created to take away benefits of someone. Now that person is died without those benefits, and now you are saying the government, it's a state funeral because he was a former president. But mwalimu putuiriama benefits. We come to Madam Nalumango, Nashanda Pariba Nalumango. But can you seek God's face before you talk? Every time Nalumango comes, She creates a whole circus. It's like she adds the salt in the country. But Nalumango, her tongue never comes to bring peace when she speaks. Look at Inonge Winner's speech and compare it to Nalumango's speech. When Inonge Winner spoke, even the mode of the country settled. If abantu baliamba okushita cool down when Inonge Winner spoke. Now let Nalumango speak. See, it's like she has diluted everything. Inonge Winner spoke. I don't know if she said treacherous or treasonous. Let me play the tape before I comment. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Just hold on. Let me say what Nalumango said.
She said treason. Treason.
She said treason?
Treason. The thing that sent HH to Mukweko.
So now they want to put treason on Tarsila and Esther?
That's what...
You now want to put treason and Esther imwe Nalumango imwe. You want to put treason on Esther on top of what they have. Mubabikirepo treason. Where are we going? Where are we going as a country? Where? If a vice president can come and threaten Tarsila and Esther for treason.
So what's treasonous about a family deciding how they want to hold a funeral? In 2008, when John McCain died, he had left instruction that he didn't want Donald Trump to be part of the funeral procession. There was a reason, and Trump respected that. So I really don't see why the Zambian government should be so much have this obsession to wanting to hold Lungu in high esteem after his passing. But I know what it is. They're trying to save a face. To who? Not to the Zambian people, but to the international community. They want to build a name. They want to make a name. That's all there is there. The other thing could be they want to win some electoral votes, because the votes are going to be going to matter on how they're treating Lungu right now. So they want to come out like, oh, we are good people. See how we did this, A, B, C, D. But guess what? Never feel. They just flopped. Never feel. Everybody can see the writing is on the wall. If someone, like I stated yesterday, if someone tells you, don't come to my funeral, don't come. We yako. If Kasongo is not invited to the funeral, let him stay away. You know what? Simple. Why should you start making friendship with someone who's already gone? This should have been corrected before. Woman, he should have done his homework properly. He should have made amends to Lungu. Who stops someone from seeking medical help? Who? What kind of heart is that? You take away, like Queen said, you take away all the presidential benefits. As a matter of fact, the Presidential Benefits Act of 1993 is probably what they used. Oh, since you go back in active politics, so to adapt benefits, well and good, you did that. But you found this guy ineligible. When you do that, guess what? Then he's entitled to all these other benefits. If he's entitled to the benefits and then you stop him from seeking medical help, what are you telling ourselves? This is a disgrace of the government. Whichever set of eyes you look at this issue, this is a disgrace of the government, and this has to stop right now. This should be a learning curve. This should be a learning point for current and future leadership of Zambia. That's not how you treat me. Out of my politics, Zambia want to think about politics. What? I'm so disappointed. If the Lungu family make demands, let the government respect. As a matter of fact, there's no law that says that the Zambian government should force themselves over the funeral of the late former president. You know why? Because there has to be established protocol between the family and the state. Guess who holds the upper hand? It's the family. So let them, they should maybe stay back. If I was by HH looking at the relationship, I would have just come up to the nation and say, nation, and then we've lost a former president. There might have been things if you had to take it, but you know what? As a nation, please let's mourn in peace. Not even adding more salt to if you had to take it. Nalumango threatening abantu, that's the stupidest thing for somebody actually. That you as a leader, the first thing out of your mouth is to threaten abantu. Is that the way life should go? No. No matter how much you can threaten abantu, people will always find a way out. And if we don't speak against such tyranny, before we apply to our ones, or we're going to throw treason on you. Is that how treason works? That is so disrespectful for shame.
Are you done, my brother? I wanted to insert something for context. Every one of us can read. There's a book, it's called David Livingstone's The Explorer. When David Livingstone died, which Tambo mission, he was not supposed to die there. And I say this for a reason, because there were two Zambians, Tuse Chuma. These two people. When David Livingstone, he had several voyages. He sailed from, he was born in England. We all know the story. But before he died, 2 weeks before he died, he said, and I quote, I want to see Luapula. You can read this. I'm not making this up. You can go and read in the book that I read myself. David Livingstone loved Luapula so much. And these two servants, Chuma and Susi, did something that I think we can learn from at this hour. David Livingstone wanted to go over Luapula River. He was prevented. The Chuma and Susi took him. He was suffering from dysentery. They carried him. He had no strength. Somehow he ended up at Titambo Mission. Let's read this one.
Oh, wait, it's open.
Yeah. Somehow he ended up at Chitambo Mission. And by God's grace, he died there. And when he died, I'm gonna go graphic for TikTok. Narana Muchibemba. I'm Tonga, but I was speaking Bemba. When Africa Kuchitambo Mission, Aqua, and on the Ushiguafide, Suse is the one that went and found him on his knees. He was praying for what country? Zambia. David Livingstone died praying for our nation. Remember, Ale Pepere Charuches. If you've ever heard about Frederick Douglass, in Pepere, when the national team perished, the way he prayed, you understand that our nation is blessed. These two guys, Juma, Susie, you can read about this. David Livingstone had white people with him, Abasungu, who could have documented his story and how he died. But it was Susie who documented his death. And they took his the amara, the intestines. His heart was buried at Chitambo Mission. They took his body. It took 6 months. 6 months to go to Zanzibar to put his body on a ship to arrive in England, where the mayor at that time said, and I quote, "These people that took exceptional to preserve the body of David Livingstone these natives at that time, they called us natives. They preserved the body for 6 months from Chitambo Mission, where he died, to Zanzibar, where they put his body on a ship. And that ship sailed from Zanzibar to England, to where his remains. This is David Livingstone. There's a city in Zambia named Livingstone. Wherever, listen to what I'm saying. I wish Vampombo was here. This was done by 2 Zambians. 20 million of us cannot get ECL from South Africa. 2 people carried David Livingstone from Chitambo Mission to Zanzibar. From Zanzibar, he was put on a ship. One of them, Stuse, was a missionary. He came back to Zambia. Read about this.
Thank you, Bamugwagwa.
Mashikulo.
Twatotela. Thank you, Bachichi. If I bring you on the big screen, it means you are up next to speak. Welcome by Facebook. We have a panel on TikTok. If you want to join in, I'm reading the comments. Gladys Upiri, Gladys Kawaso says Nalumango should stop being a card pamaliro. Henry Piri Baranda Mama Mutaina Nalumango, why can't you shut up if you can't say something good? Yes. So those are the comments coming in from Facebook. But we are here. We stand with the Lungu family. And we have just heard a testimony of how David Livingstone died in Zambia, and some of his remains were taken by foot all the way to Zanzibar and on a ship to London, where it took 6 months for them to be buried. And in Zambia, in our case, there are airplanes which can land in Zambia within an hour from South Africa. But we are here to say, let us not bury Lungu in a wrong way. There is no rush for us to bury Lungu in a wrong way. Kwati wa Lungu is nika baby akafuire, a stillborn baby or wakapopo. Lungu is a man who ruled Zambia for 7 years. Before ruling Zambia, Lungu held various high-profile positions in the government Republic of Zambia, and before being in GRZ, he was a highly accomplished lawyer, and he had a career. So we just can't rush to bury Lungu within a week without the entire country saying goodbye to him, and all these threats coming in. You know, Nalumango, what she did by what she has said is pouring, is like pissing on the president's speech, excuse my French, for lack of a better word. Vachichi, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President, for giving me this opportunity to also share my thoughts on this subject. Let me actually start by maybe on the point where you've ended. Concerning Madam Nalumango, as a person who watched a clip of what happened, actually, I was a bit disappointed in her, because as a vice president and a person who is standing on the podium to discuss the matter should have some reason of empathy and maturity, and as a woman to stand with a woman who's mourning, who's Mama Esther Lungu. Why am I saying this? Let's look at what the point of order raised by who's this gentleman, Honorable Member of Parliament for Matero. He raised a point, and instead of the Vice President to respond to that with a bit of sensitivity, he actually humiliated Mausampa by saying, this same one who's talking was the former PF president. We just said that now the president is for Honorable Chavinga. Now she respects Honorable Chavinga. To me, I look at that as a source of confusion. Because why am I saying this? She should, at least at this point, be able to sense the sensitivity of the issues based on the speech or the statement that was delivered by the president himself, where he talked about unity, peace, love, all those issues. When we look at the way she came out on the floor, it's a very disappointing thing. I'm disappointed, just as you, Madam Queen Pumi, you've stated. And I'll go back to the issue of the statement that the president issued yesterday. I actually explained to say I'm a bit disappointed. I didn't even listen to that for one simple reason. I've always respected the President HH, especially when he just came in power, before he came in power, because he spoke with that authority, truthfulness, honesty, trustworthiness. But after he ran the country to a point where he said, I can never give back the mines to Vendetta. Today it's history. It's from that point that I changed my mind in this whole thing, and I don't trust him. Sorry to say, Zambians, I don't trust President HH. He says something and he does something. He promised to rule this country on the premise of good rule of law. Where are we today? We are in a state where everything seems to be confused. Yes, to those who are from the UPND, things are okay, because they sometimes don't use their critical thinking, and they are not being objective. They are not being Zambian. they have aligned themselves to UPND. They can't say this is wrong, this is right. But as the patriotic Zambians, we've tried to stand with the Zambian to say this is wrong. I'll give 2 examples before, Madam, you remove me from the panel to give chance to the other person. Let's look at some of the examples that Edgar Lungu himself, when he requested for a dialogue with President HH, when he wrote a letter, which was written on the 20th September 2024, where he outlined just 2 conditions to stop funding the 2 factions of PF and restore the records of PF at the Registrar of Society. That is the basis of saying Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is not trustworthy, because if he was trustworthy, he could have honored the former president condition of the dialogue. There was nothing wrong with that. It's in the same principle that where we are today, that the family has requested that, please, for us to mourn our person, we are requesting for this. Just because he didn't honor those 2 conditions, don't expect him to honor this, because he is a man of no one can challenge me. Whatever he says, he says. So that's why for me, to trust whatever he says, I cannot do it. And that's why I would say, the Lungu family, I stand with you. Stand on your principle of what you want. Don't be misled by the people who are saying now, you want your charges to be dropped, because that's a narrative they want to run, and now start distracting us from the real issues. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Chichi. Mama Elia, what is your take?
Sikomo, mulibwanji wonse hapa. So, nzakamba pali wa Mrs. Nalumango ko. Nine nankara disappointed na zinabaona nsiku.
Your volume has gone?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, vamene wenzo kamba wa Mrs. Nalumango. It's siva mucho. Vakuti vakunobolesa confusion. Vakambati vakainde ni va president vanu nangu sibuto na wabufuna. So if it danda ora vakuti vamene va president vakainde vachita ni voipa. Vakuti muntu vanomuresa kuenda ku hospital kumuchita strip yonse mabenefit, and then vabwera vatiuza kuti vari sorry, neja sorry sivipanga nasi sorry.
So, Elia, could you comment on Facebook from Catherine Nkandu? She says, stop living in the past. We are Christian, forgive and forget. What is your take on that?
We are not, who's living in the past? There is no past here. We are talking about what the president himself said. If to the extent of refusing President Hakainde to be on his funeral. Wakana wene wake wa Edgar Lungu kuti swa wafuna wa president kungara kumaliro kwao. So this is not a past.
Mwamfaba Catherine, we are living in the present because yes, we are talking about developing news panel. But Edgar Lungu's will is HH should not be in the funeral. So how is that in the past?
Put yourself in the shoes of this family. Even that Jesus you are talking about, we are Christian Pakama. Why can't your President Hakainde say nga Jesus enzeine nga achitabwanji pali uyu from the beginning pamene wenzo wodwara wa Edgar Lungu. But instead he showed the bitterness, hatred. He didn't take care of his brother. And he's an elder in the church. You want to talk Christianity. But your President Hakainde, is he not an elder in the church? And the fruits that he's producing and he has produced from the beginning, are they fruits of the Christian? We are allowed in the Bible to correct. Correction and the it's different from all. You want to use Christianity to justify what your President Hakainde is doing, and he has done to this family. Even now, why can't he even take all those people he has arrested in Mujere, and he's coming out to speak about it? Let's mourn in peace, let's mourn in this. But he's tormenting people. Where is forgiveness? You want to correct us about forgiveness. Why can't you correct President Hakainde? If he has forgiveness, he wants to do this in peace. Why can't he forgive those people he's arresting and tormenting in jail? So you should not be partiality. Leave this family, mourn in peace, bury their loved one in peace. And Wakainde, if I was you, inganda kulumwe Wakainde, inganda wareka eji family, bajika muntu wawe iche. Ni chintu chomwe muntu wangambira otakuiza kunganda kwangu. Amano mendanga kulifosi nganda ya kunganda kwa weri ya muntu. Mwinoka basunga wa Edgar Lungu. Mchibatora kumakoti. Mwana utogulira baishi, umwe mwamwita kumakoti kwamba akuiza kumakoti. Namrazanda kuomba vya Christianity here. Forgiveness. You have to forgive those who trespass against you so that your Heavenly Father can forgive you. But you are continuing harassing, molesting these people, and you want to talk about peace. Leave this family to mourn in peace. People come here for bringing Christianity in the middle. That's what they do. I thought you were a Christian. No. Christianity is part of speaking the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bamelenga, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mama President, for giving me this opportunity to talk about our president. I think what I can say is we cannot pretend that we are Christian. After then you come and say, oh, okay, Salan, that we are Christian. No, we have to be straight and we have to speak the truth. The Bible says the truth shall set you free. Also, I'm just imagining when the president went to sign the book. I'm just imagining to see the person that you were not in good books, then you are looking at his picture, is normal. And then this is the president that you didn't recognize that is the president. This is the president that you did a lot. You denied him a lot of things. I don't know if I was the president, if I was in his shoes, I don't know how I can face that thing. And then I think what we are saying is like Mama President, what we are standing on to say, let our Tasila and Nalumango stand on the same, as we said, that they shouldn't let these people do what they want to do. And then I don't understand why Efobako said they come send about the Nalumango. This is, I'm asking my question, why is it that it's very, very, they just want to get the board of our president? Why? They should allow the family, what the family have decided, they should allow the family to do what they want to do, because the family comes first. So, Mama President, this is what I wanted to add.
Thank you so much. But Robam Moise, Nikuli, I want to Robam to respond to this comment before you give your take. Kuli comment if Minekuli Bonnie, let me just find it. Vaboni, yeah, who is a comment? Yeah, Ruba. There is a comment from
Can I say
Vaboni.
something before I enter my job?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Is that on Queen Monde?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, good evening, Zambia. When inform me, good afternoon. What I want us to contribute, firstly, I'm so disappointed to the president and the vice president. You know, sometimes we need to swallow our pride, and you just come out at least to show the people the remorse, and don't say things which you don't mean. Otherwise, often when there's too much pretense, things that people are saying things they don't mean. Even the president, if I look at the thing, the press conference he had yesterday, you can't address the people, something which you have been recorded, instead of just coming live. Even people, they will hear that anyway, the president can't find next decision. But what we saw yesterday is like, it's like he's pretending, he's not meaning it. Then coming to the family, there's a traditional thing they do. They show patients sometimes the way they comb the hair, the way they do things. If we as people who care for them, we don't need to change, because it's a family thing. Because in the watching, they can even take you to prison. So even whatever the family is saying that the presidency and the other officials of the government, anything to do with the body for our president, I think they should get it. Why should they start fighting each other? Number first, they never recognized that man. And today I was so disappointed in that. I didn't say that to Zambia. I was watching what he was saying. Today it can honor President Lily. Is it true, or it was just the people they can
yes.
That man is, yes, it doesn't honor that man. It doesn't honor the president. But today, pretending is not good. Sometimes, if you are a leader in the country, now what we are saying, Zambia has been divided now because of him. Zambia has never been this, the way we have this to this extent. Zambia never divided. From the word go when the president died, he knew that this is this, our former president. The day he died, he could have addressed the people there and there. No kumonesha kililishi, no kumonesha kwenda, but from the word go, he never cared. So why today?
It is pressure. He bowed down to pressure.
What is good about Edgar Lungu today? What is good about his body? Because if you do something good to your friend before somebody dies, that's what we always learn as Zambia, as a Christian nation. Let's do good to others before others they die. Now today, somebody's dying. If somebody wants a body, what is interesting? What will be to the board of presidents? For me, as Monde, Queen Mubotana, I stand with the Lungu's family. Whatever they have said, that's the thing we are going to follow. We are not going to follow these pretense people, no. If he loves our president, ECL, he could have not stopped him. No, don't go there. No, I was so, last time I cried. Removing him from the plane, come out. How does it feel? Now, Zambia never let support the things which they don't know. It's not good. All that it was the police who were doing like this. It was him sending those police, because those police, they can't just do things in their own. Somebody has to assign them to go and do this and this. Otherwise, Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, you are disappointed to Zambia. You are a disappointed person. You are a disgrace. Now, government here. No one will trust you in Zambia right now. It's only the people who are eating with you who can tell you the truth. Sometimes Ubuntu Busuma. Listen to the people, not just to listen to the people you are eating on the table with them. Because they'll just tell you things which is not there. Just because they want to make you happy. Otherwise, Zambian people, let's continue praying so that God can give you a leader. I know Mr. Lungu, I know the way he is. He's a wise man. Being a wise man, he has left something which will follow. That's what we are going to do. Otherwise, if we are standing now, the First Lady, by Esther and the family, Venetasila, let's just continue praying for them. This battle is not easy. I lost my mother last year, but I still feel it. I still feel it up to today. So what about the First Lady and everyone? Otherwise, man, they need our prayers and our encouragement. We are standing with them, no matter what. If we are not even moved, whatever Hakainde is saying, whatever is the cadres, whatever Nalumango, but it talks like he's not a wife of the pastor. Like he doesn't have a word. He doesn't have a word of God in her mouth. Sometimes, pastor, put your president, your vice president there. Carry the pastor's wife. Speak something which will make the country, the country grow, which will make a country happy. Not just because in fact, you are a card of England. It's a card that is not fit to be a vice president. She's a disgrace to the women of Zambia. Madam President, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma Queen Nonge Ritumeza Hulu. There is this comment from Sitali. The president does not arrest people. Don't mislead us. You break the law, then when it visits you, stop accusing the president of arresting people. He is not a judge. Now, first of all, before Robert Mtamula commenter, we are not talking about an ordinary person here. We are talking about a former 60th Republican president. A police officer TTMF yokuya mkuu kata Lungu. Unless the command is coming from the commander-in-chief himself. Lungu was equal to HH. So anyone below the HH cannot have power to arrest Lungu. That's why even these talks in South Africa, we heard that they had reached an agreement, but they went to consult after the agreement, and the agreement fell through. It didn't work. Because while I'm consult by HH, he has the final say. So, Robam, you can comment on that, because people are coming here. We're just saying the truth. They are saying we are misleading people. When are you going to stop with your robotic answers and with your propaganda? You are not going to lead Zambia with propaganda. Never again. And these people who are paid here to come and talk to us like we are babies, shame on you, Bostad. Mwaswabisa.
Yeah, I know it's a very sensitive topic, and I think when guys watch them by their statement, I think they see what Fadiranda, and they don't understand the power that the president has. I think for the first one that I wanted to talk about was Nalumango. Okay, that woman, in as much as she speaks like that, I think she speaks on behalf of the president, because
I'll give you an example. Wamugwagwa and Queen Pumi and those that are in the US. I think you would agree with me. You know, J.D. Vance, the vice president of the United States, his views changed the moment Donald Trump appointed him as his running mate. So some of his political views and how he used to criticize Donald Trump has changed. So what HH has done is played it very clever in the way that NRA kind of quiets, and then he's pushing Nalumango because she's so careless and desperate for power to say some of the things that she says. So there's a strategy there that HH very quiet, but then Nalumango goes with her vomits on the TV, and then even in Parliament. So there's a strategy there. So I think it's a stupid strategy, and it's embarrassing for the country. And when people around the world are craving to see a bit of leadership, and all we are just seeing is it's like kids, people that don't understand what's happening. You know, at the moment, you know, our country is a very peaceful country, and so what has happened in the past few weeks in other countries that would have had a lot of issues, but Zambia is indeed a Christian nation. And that powerful story that Wamugwagwa gave about David Livingstone praying for our country. You know, when a country is declared as a Christian nation, it's not just about talking, Bakana. It's about action. So you see, even our President Mulia speech, but it's no, we're a Christian nation. But then it's not acted as a Christian nation. The Bible in Matthew 25, verse 36, I was sick, and you looked after me. Okay? In this passage, Jesus identifies himself with the vulnerable. Visiting the sick is portrayed as a direct service to Christ himself. It's not optional. It's part of what defines true discipleship. So if that man was a real elder, okay? A real elder, and I repeat, if he was a real elder and a leader of our country, when the moment he knew that his friend was not well, he should have made a lot of efforts to create that peace and visit the sick genuinely. And then our country would never have been in this situation that we're in now. So I think we have to be very careful. And some of these people, that's why they are struggling to manage the country, because you cannot use God. Nishi, what you believe in is something completely different. And the way you're leading people does not represent God or does not portray Jesus in everything that you do. So for me, I think I've always said is, you know, when you declare yourself as a Christian, you have to be prepared for some of the attacks to come your way. And I think this is a big test for our country. From the moment it was declared as a Christian nation, we are under attack. And we need to fight and pray on our knees for our country to be released from this government that we have. Because the way they are dividing, and they would never even tell their own people to stop doing something that is wrong, that we can actually see. And that's where the problem is. Because they just can't keep on condemning PF. What they need to do is put their house in order and communicate properly, because almost everything that's been coming from their mouth, they're trying to, if you analyze that speech, Queen Pumi, you know, in these developed countries, whenever the president or the senior person makes a speech, there are people that break it down and they analyze that speech. You know, so for me, it's like when I look at that speech, even when you were saying the majority in our country are crying and stuff, then the thing is, so are you removing yourself then? Are you removing, so you're aware that certain people
He
are not
even
affected
said
by the
those
death
that
of
respected
this
him.
man?
Yeah.
You know?
He removed
So
himself. Yeah.
yeah, so that was very clear that even him, he knows that by the one of those women that are twerking, he knows that there are people that are not actually in mourning. There are people that are actually drinking and celebrating that this has happened. So that was a stupid speech for me. And I ask myself, where was the wife? Because if I was the president myself, every time I'm going somewhere else, my wife asks me, eh? I know you've got a presentation tomorrow. What are you talking about? She'll tell me, oh, okay. Sometimes we'll debate and say, no. It has to stay there. But that's wives do. But no, by the way, you just let your husband to go there. And then he just says whatever he says, no apology whatsoever. And then the emphasis of him, it's been 7 days. 7 days. But, sometimes I don't know how that guy was created. Honestly, he's a very unique character. And I hope we don't have those kind of people anywhere in Zambia after HH. Because they are a danger, and they are so greedy, and they have no love for the Zambians, but just for themselves. I'm so upset, and I think I will submit just my contribution for today, and then for now, and then I'll come back later. But that was just what I wanted to say. So for Nalumango, I think he speaks, that tone is not just coming from him. Just to add one thing about President, that point that he said that even if you change us in government, you remain poor. The president would have actually issued something to say, like, no, my vice president was wrong.
Yeah.
But you know what?
They
never even, so which means they agree.
No one condemned it, yeah? No one condemned that statement. Yeah.
So that was an official government statement. That's what they believe in, that you guys will always be poor. So for those people that are coming here and still backing this government, when they're actually giving them all the information to see that this is what we can do, this is the best that we can do, and there's nothing else we can do. But whatever extra campaign for them, it's unbelievable. I think I'll stop just here for now.
So welcome, Valandan. You are on the big screen. So before you come in, there is a comment on Facebook. I want us to be addressing these comments on Facebook, because this is how we were going to get ahead. We have been ignoring these people, but now we have to nip it in the bud. So Bawili Petra says, problem, you are looking just at one side. Look back what HH was going through when he was in opposition, and he says we are foolish people. But Willie, first of all, HH was an opposition president. He wasn't a former Republican president, okay? This is the confusion. You praise singers are confusing. But HH, when he was in opposition, he was just like me. Because me, I have a political party in opposition. He was just like Freddie Membe or any other opposition. That's what he was. So now you are confusing the status of opposition party to a status of a former Republican president. Someone who ruled Zambia for 7 years cannot compare. You cannot compare a former Republican president to just an opposition president. HH had never ruled Zambia. He was just in opposition for a long time. So let's have that be clear.
Just a one-liner to Willie. I don't think we want to. But Willie represents people that truly believe in what is the way backward, not what's the way forward. So that's for him. Now, one of the things, more than anything, that I'll share on this platform goes to Nalumango. With due respect to the vice president, describing a grieving family's personal wish that the head of state not attend their loved one's funeral with treasonous is deeply troubling, and that's just constitutionally misplaced. Treason is a grave charge that involves the illegal overthrow of a government. It also involves aiding enemies of the state, not the emotional decision of the family, especially during such a time of mourning. A funeral is not a political battleground. It is a sacred and deeply personal moment for family and loved ones. So while former President ECL circles Zambians, his burial arrangements should prioritize the family's wishes over political optics. This government, their role is to offer support and respect, not cohesion.